Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I'm on a sort of bud and spike hunt today. I'm watering my normal pots followed by the mounts. Now I won't find anything on the mounts that I didn't know about before, simply because I do them so frequently and they normally get hand done. You get the sprayer now and again, but I've got dull weather at the moment, so I'm not getting the heat. It comes in bursts. Every now and again I get a period of sunshine, boosts it up again, but then it drops back again. We've had quite a bit of rain as well. My flash drive or USB drive or pen drive or whatever you want to call it arrived, and so I've made a recovery repair drive for the desktop. So if anything goes wrong with that, at least I can try something myself, if you know what I mean, because that's way beyond any form of warranty or anything. So hopefully, so that's that one done. But I won't be able to use that one for the laptop when it comes back, simply because it's a different version of Windows. The desktop is on Windows 10 Pro and the laptop was on Windows 10 Home, so they will need a different one. But they're £5 or £6, you know, for one that's actually oversized, but it's not worth buying the smaller one and risking the backups, you know, the system files not actually fitting on there. So it's just, well, you know, it's like 60p extra for the bigger one. It's just not worth messing about. So I will get another one once I know what's happening with the laptop. They've responded by saying they've received it, but due to the circumstances, it will now be quarantined for a while, for the safety of their staff, before they even think about looking at it. Plus, because of the circumstances, they're getting a bit of a backlog, so it could take some time before it gets looked at. But they've got it, you know, so it's in hand, as they say. Right, so I'll see what I can find today. As I say, I don't expect to find anything on mounts, but if I do, I'll add it on, or anything that's progressed suitable or anything like that. As far as spikes and buds are concerned, I've put it back now. Can I get at it? I might be able to get my hand on it. I'm not getting all the plants out again because I didn't think about doing a video, but let's have a look at my screen. There on the end of my finger is a spike, and that is, I'll have to do a pop-up because it's a Miltonia species crossed with a primary cross. So it's got 3 species involved there, and I don't know what they are. That was one that Lynn gave me. So that's got a spike on it with buds showing. So that's progressed a bit quick. And then over here there was one. Which one was it? Oh, I'm losing track here. Ah, this one. This is another Miltonia. This is Summer Glory, and this has a spike showing here and a spike showing here. So we've got a spike on both of the new growths. I suspect it will only have one. Trouble is you can get a bit used to 2 spikes on Oncidium types, but some don't. And Miltonias do tend to stick to one. Some of them have a double spike, one each side, but anyway, so we've got 2 spikes coming on that, and at the moment that's all I found so far. I'll keep you posted. I'm expecting spikes on this soon. This was the present from Zana that came with the 2 species Miltoniopsis, and this is Chrysomorphum, and this arrived with 0 roots. It's certainly made up for that now. I've got a nice pot full of roots, and we've got, I'm pretty sure, 2 new growths, but I can't be absolutely certain. That's the problem. I can't remember whether this growth here was on it or whether I've grown it. But there's no sign of a spike on it yet. This, however, is definitely my growth over this side. That's pushing on nicely. I would expect that one to bloom even if the other one doesn't. So we should get a spike on there. So, but not yet. You know, that's should come at some point down the line. No reason why it shouldn't. It was in bloom when I got it, but it was a division off a blooming size plant. And if you remember what I've said about those instances, when you take a section off of a blooming size plant that's actually in bloom, it doesn't make your division blooming size. it may not bloom for several new growths after that, because it's lost all its backup. You know, it's lost its bulk, it's lost all its other parts, and it then becomes what is relatively a young plant once you separate it off with just 1 or 2 bulbs. So this one's growing on now. It's growing on quite nicely. This bit's for Insa. Asked about a kiki off of this because he's got a yellow one and a red one, and the orange one would fill the gap. I was, in my mind, I'm thinking I know there's kikis on this, but I had this one in mind because it's got 3 roots, which is reasonable, but it's also bloomed, and once it's bloomed it's not going to bloom again. So I'm going to spare this down here because you asked nicely. And basically that's a double kiki, so it's a kiki with roots that's also pushed out another one, and they're unflowered, so that should grow on at a reasonable pace. So providing I remember when I'm packing the plants up, you can have that bit there. And the Shelob Tolkien will be out, well, not soon, but quite soon. That pushed up a new growth on both of the leads, and this one failed. It didn't mature properly, so I don't think it's going to bloom. It may, but it's got a distorted shape. This went to Malvern last year, so that would have been around this time as it was in bloom, and it came back in a sorry state. It's difficult to say why, but it came back wrong. And with the addition of the high light levels last year, which paled the leaves quite badly, on top of what happened at Malvern, it stalled, basically. This year the leaves are a reasonable colour, so on this latest new growth. It hasn't matured yet, but that tends to be how they bloom, and the bulb will carry on maturing, you know, as the flowers open and go on maturing until it is. But it's a climber, unfortunately. But the next pair of new growths, which will come out here and here, or should do, will get some roots into the pot. So I'm not desperate to do anything about it yet. But yeah, we'll have Shelob Tolkien blooms soon. That'll be the third of my brassicas then, because this one's out now. The Vericosa's out, as you know. It's out in nearly every part of the grow room, quite honestly, at the moment. It's out in there, it's out in there, and up here, and that's because I've just moved it so that I can get at these pots over here. It's everywhere. But yeah, that's the third brassica type. So coming soon. Oh, and I've just remembered as well, because I lost my notes and I've had to recreate them. This was marked down for a repot once it's finished blooming. Basically, it's been in there a little while, and that'll give me a chance to deal with its climbing nature, which possibly will mean it'll get split into 2. I may put them both back in the same pot. Depends. In fact, I think this is already two plants. Let's come back. Yeah, I think it's already been split, so it's already 2 plants. So it may actually be time to separate it and actually have 2 plants, and then one can go to somebody else at some point. But yeah, it's things like that in your notes, you know, a reminder to repot because it's been in the pot a while. Things like that are gone now. I've just got to try and use my memory, what little bit there is. Well, I think this is the only other thing I'm going to find today. I still may find something else. I know I've got things in the Cattleya Alliance to show, but I'm not watering the holy clay pots today, so I'm not sort of doing a separate thing. The Victoria Regina buds are buds. I would say many. When it's the first time and you get a nub in, you sort of think, well, what is it? Is it a bud? Is it a spike? Is it a cluster? Well, I know this is a cluster, and I now know it's going to have quite a few within it. So really looking forward to that. I know I'm getting selfish, I suppose, but I'm looking for others now. Like, come on, you know, you've managed one, let's have some more now. Anyway, and the one next to it, the Hookerianum, the nubbins on here are starting to push on now. There's lots of these, but they're in various stages. Until I get it down and have a close look, I'm not sure whether this is the most advanced or not, but they're certainly very visible now. So we are going to, and a nubbin on virtually every leaf joint is not going to be kikis, is it? It's going to be blooms. So we are going to get blooms down the line. Again, this will be a first time bloomer. It's a relatively new plant. Actually got at the same time as the Victoria Regina. So I don't know what these are going to do. Are they going to grow and turn into spikes with several blooms on? Are they just going to be one bloom? And I'm not looking it up because I'd just like it to be a surprise, as I wasn't expecting it to bloom. So just let it grow and see what it does. So that's that. And I think I'm going to call that a day. I know it's only a short one, but I just stopped for a lunch break, a snack and a drink. Which I've left in the kitchen, so I need to go and retrieve that. I had a large box arrive this morning. Postman Pat left it on the door, banged on the door and walked away, waited for me, and I looked at it and I thought, I'm not expecting anything. And it had handwriting on the label. And do you know my first thought is, oh no, I hope somebody hasn't sent me a box of orchids. I know it's a nice thought, but I don't need any more orchids, even though it might have been a nice gesture. I opened it up. It's a Father's Day present from Hannah, and it's lots of little things, like a little set of small jars of different types of marmalade, some milk chocolate Brazils, some chili coated nuts, some ginger biscuits, or ginger biscuits covered in chocolate, a new shirt. So it's like like an Aladdin's cave, opening it up and rooting around, and things just kept coming out. So that was really nice. I really wish she'd written on the box for Father's Day, because then I'd have waited till Sunday to actually open it. But yeah, Father's Day and Hannah's birthday should both have been celebrated by our trip to Malvern. Stop in the hotel and go into the show and everything. So, you know, and both of those ended up not really happening. So anyway, that was nice. And I just checked my mail. I've got an email from the laptop seller saying that their technician has checked the unit and has confirmed there is a fault. It will now be sent back to the manufacturer for repair/replacement. And be warned, it can take up to 28 days. So that's exactly what I was expecting. So we will be without the laptop for some considerable time, which gives me plenty of time to get used to the slower speed of the desktop. And sometimes things like, I know it sounds daft, but when I've finished compiling a video and I've put all the bits together and the pop-ups, it has to be rendered into a single unit to load onto YouTube. And I used to be able to go to quite a high resolution with the laptop, and if it was a 30-minute video, to render it at the high resolution would have taken about 20 minutes, so less than the length of the video. It absolutely rocketed. Whereas now, a 30-minute video at a lower resolution is taking nearly an hour. So, and that's the difference. The desktop has got onboard graphics, yeah, and it's heavy on graphics doing video stuff. The laptop had its own graphics processor with its own memory. That's why it could rocket away. So things take quite a bit longer on the YouTube front, but it doesn't matter. They're things I can walk away from. You know, once I put the video together, I can click start and just walk away. And when it's finished, the screen will change. So, you know, I can go and do something else and just keep my eye on it. Don't have to sit there and watch it. So there we go. I shall leave it at that for today. And I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do tomorrow. Let's wait for tomorrow and find out. See you next time.